Construction hazards. A hazard is a situation that creates a threat to life, health, property, the environment, personal integrity, and so on. Hazards differ from risks, in that risks describe the potential for a situation such as a hazard to cause harm. From a health and safety perspective, a hazard may be seen as a condition with the potential to cause physical impairment or health consequences in people, or any other type of life. In a project environment, a hazard is anything that may affect the success of project activities or the project as a whole. Similarly, companies, ventures, physical assets, the environment, and society face hazards. Most hazards are potential or latent, but if a hazardous situation becomes effective, it can cause an incident, an accident, or even a disaster. Biological hazards. Biological hazards are presented by exposure to infectious microorganisms, to toxic substances of biological origin or animal attacks. Excavation workers, for example, can develop histoplasmosis, an infection of the lung caused by a common soil fungus. Since there is constant change in the composition of the labor force on any one project, individual workers encounter other workers and, consequently, may become infected with contagious diseases, influenza or tuberculosis, for example. Workers may also be at risk of malaria, yellow fever, or Lyme disease if work is conducted in areas where these organisms and their insect vectors are prevalent. Toxic substances of plant origin come from poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, and nettles, all of which can cause skin eruptions. Some wood dusts are carcinogenic, and some, example, western red cedar, are allergenic. Attacks by animals are rare but may occur whenever a construction project disturbs them or encroaches on their habitat. This could include wasps, hornets, fire ants, snakes, and many others. Underwater workers may be at risk from attack by sharks or other fish. Chemical hazards. Chemical hazard is any substance, regardless of its form, that can potentially cause physical and health hazards to people or can result in harm to the environment. Chemicals are widely used in the home, site, and in many other places. Exposure to chemical can cause acute or long-term detrimental health effect. Types of chemical hazards: asphyxiants, corrosives, irritations, sensitizer, carcinogens, mutagens, reactive. Flammable. To avoid any chemical hazard to happen, life and health safety procedures concerning to chemical hazard should always provide and properly practice. Electrical hazards. Electrical hazard is a dangerous condition such that contact or equipment failure can result in electric shock, arc flush burn, thermal burn, or blast. These are the major hazard associated with electrical. Fire from a fault wire, or overloading circuit, leaving electrical parts exposed, no proper cable management done on site, and leaving the area with exposed unprotected electrical wires/outlet, are among the cause, leads, or resulting to electrical hazard. To avoid things to happen, life and health safety procedures concerning to electrical hazard should always provide and properly practice. Ergonomic hazards. Ergonomic hazards are physical conditions that may pose a risk of injury to the musculoskeletal system. Ergonomic hazards include awkward postures, static postures, high forces, repetitive motion, or short intervals between activities. The risk of injury is often magnified when multiple factors are present. Factors such as whole body or hand/arm vibration, poor lighting, poorly designed tools, equipment, or workstations all contribute to negative interactions with the worker/user. Some of the common body regions where injuries may occur include, but are not limited to, muscles or ligaments of the lower back, muscles or ligaments of the neck, muscles, tendons, or nerves of the hands/wrists, bones and muscles surrounding the knees and legs. Injuries in these and other parts of the body could result in musculoskeletal disorders, MSDs, which may be called cumulative trauma disorders, CTDs, or repetitive strain injuries, RSIs, and are estimated to account for about a third of all non-fatal injuries and illnesses and their associated costs. Ergonomic hazards occur in both occupational and non-occupational settings such as in workshops, building sites, offices, homes, schools, or public spaces and facilities. Mechanical hazards. Mechanical hazards are hazards created using or exposure to either powered or manually operated equipment, machinery and plant. Mechanical injuries are mostly caused either by contact or entanglement with machinery. Part of the machinery that could be hazardous to workers include sharp edges, hot surfaces, moving parts, flywheel, pulley, belt, etc. Where mechanical hazards occur. It occurs majorly in 3 areas. The point of operation, point where work is performed on the material, such as cutting, shaping, boring, etc. Power transmission apparatus, components of the mechanical system that transmit energy to the part of the machine performing the work. Example, flywheels, pulleys, belts, connecting rods, couplings, cams, spindles, chains, cranks, gears, etc. Machine moving parts, parts of the machine that move while the machine is working. These may include reciprocating, rotating, and transverse moving parts, as well as feed mechanisms and auxiliary parts of the machine. Common mechanical injuries. Fracture. Fracture is the medical term for a broken bone. It can be classified as simple, compound, or complete fracture. Puncturing/stabbing. Puncturing results when an object penetrates straight into the body and pulls straight out, creating a wound in the shape of the penetrating object. Straining and spraining. A strain results when muscles are overstretched or torn. Strains and sprains can cause swelling and intense pain. Impact. Being hit by ejected parts of the machinery or equipment. Friction and abrasion. A section of the skin being rubbed away by the machine. Entrapment. Being caught in a moving part of a machine or equipment or plant. Crushing. Collision of plant with a person can result to crushing. Shear. Can be 2 moving parts, sharp or otherwise, moving across one another. High pressure injection. This is an injury caused by high pressure injection of oil, grease, diesel fuel, gasoline, solvents, water, or even air, into the body. Cut. Severing of a human body part by a cutting motion, example, amputation. Physical hazards. Noise, heat and cold, radiation, vibration, and barometric pressure are some of the risks associated with construction. By virtue of the activity of demolition, noise is present on projects. Operators of heavy machinery may complete their work in an enclosed, windowless cab next to a hot engine without ventilation. Roofers frequently work outside in the sun without any protection when heating tar pots. Non-ionizing ultraviolet, UV, light from the sun and electric arc welding are both hazards for construction workers. Ionizing radiation exposure is less frequent but can happen, for instance, during an X-ray check of a weld. More and more people are using lasers, which pose a risk of harm if the beam is deflected, especially to the eyes. Decompression illness and inert gas poisoning are risks for high-pressure employees.